I have a story to share. I call it cycling in tandem. I was about 50 years old and Barb was 45 when we wondered if a tandem bike might solve the difference in our collective cycling strength. The tandem bike shop that specialized in tandems was located in an older section of town. The wood floors smelled of oil. The ceiling seemed made of copper and bore the embossed design that had gone out of favor decades earlier. Tom, the manager, was a giant who spoke with a commanding voice. He recalled our conversation and immediately pulled a long green bike from his window display and then waited for our reaction when we saw the price tag. The cost exceeded what we were expecting to spend. Tom didn't seem surprised. Instead, he smiled and suggested we test ride it. Following his directions, we pushed it to an alley 2 doors west of our store. My setting in front seemed no different from what I had already experienced on a British bike I brought back from the West Indies. Barb was uncomfortable, not able to see where she was headed. Leaning out in order to see around me caused us to veer toward a brick wall. We proceeded along the alley in this zigzag fashion. While the alley was wide enough for 2 cars to pass, it was not wide enough for us. Discouraged, we returned the bike and went home. But the seed had taken root. Before the month was out, we paid Tom a second visit. As he adjusted the saddle heights on a beautiful red one, he suggested we ride it on a quiet side street that college students often traveled. We had improved, but Barb had her own issues and planted her feet on the street while we waited for the traffic light. When it changed, I stood to get us started, but the bike didn't move, and I nearly went over the handlebars. Obviously, owning a tandem bike was not going to be in our future. We went home without it. Days later, Tom called with new information. One of the bicycle executives at the Burley factory had participated in a UK tandem rally, and he had taken a new bike with him. Upon his return, he classified his bike as a demo and gave Tom permission to sell it at a deep discount. We arrived before noon. The bike was a Burley Samba that had been upgraded to a silver duet. This time he suggested we push it to the Willamette River Trail where there were fewer distractions. Keep it for a while. I close at 6, he said. We were getting the hang of it until we reached our first downgrade. Our combined weight caused the bike to gather speed and soon exceeded my comfort zone. In addition, 2 women were approaching on separate bikes and consuming more than half the path. White-knuckled, I heard the one on the outside say to the one in the middle, "A bike is approaching, but hold your position and we will be fine." That was when I saw her sightless eyes. The cyclist in the middle was blind. Surviving the encounter gave us enough confidence. We took the bike home. One would think that adding a second rider would double the power. Not true. A tandem requires a greater level of cooperation. This reminds me of a book published in 1850 called Cycling to Canterbury. Newlyweds J. and Elizabeth Pennell of Boston celebrated their honeymoon in London. After purchasing a tandem, they set out to retrace the steps of Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, 500 years after the fact. Having not yet acquired said cooperation, Jay accused his bride of backpedaling. Perhaps her experience is a source of the age-old adage, wherever your relationship is headed, it will get there more. Wherever your relationship is headed, it will quickly define itself on a tandem bicycle. Barb and I became soulmates. Thank you for listening.